Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for BroadwayWorld. Vassar and New York Stage and Film are kicking off their 33rd Powerhouse theater season, and we dropped by the rehearsal room to meet some of this season's company.
I'm so excited. I could not be more thrilled about how this season has come together. It's kind of an amazing group of artists, and I feel really fortunate to be in a place where we get to help them tell their stories.
We have covered many of these. Every time I come in here, I feel like it's the kickoff of the summer. You put together the most creative teams and actors to go away to theater summer camp to do their thing.
I know, we've started thinking about it like our own little theater brigadoon. It's this funny community that arises anew every year. And I think it's really special when there are people like Josh Radnor, like Cheryl Kaller, who have really deep history with the place. And then to bring in people who are going to be new to us this year. I mean, I could not be happier than to have people like Lynn Nottage be part of our season. I mean, how lucky am I?
Dream collaboration, including Sam. What's it been like for you working on a musical?
It's been great. It's been challenging. It's like discovering that you had muscles you didn't know you had.
She's wonderful. She's a natural, and we've been friends for a long time, so it's very comfortable and great.
Yeah. So it's early days for this show. We really just kind of have a second draft, and we've never put it in front of anybody. So it's going to be a real adventure up there at Vassar. And I mean, I'm excited to see what happens, but we've no idea yet.
Anyway, there was this really, really brilliant Russian film that was released in 2008 called Stelagia. And it was a Russian movie musical about these kids in 1955 Moscow, in which they are obsessed with American culture and music and stuff in a Soviet regime that prohibits any access to that material. So they kind of invent their own America. And Oleg is the choreographer, the original choreographer of the film. So, and if you look at the movie, his work is really stunning. Anyway, when I went over to Moscow to meet with the brilliant, really brilliant filmmaker and the guy who did the music and the DP and all of them, I met with Oleg, and I thought, we should bring him over and work on this with us. So here he is.
What's it been like working with Michael and working on this project?
Great. Actually, I have no experience working in Broadway, of course, in US even. And I don't know, for me now it's everything new, every day is new, but I really like it.
The butting of heads that came with self-expression, which tied itself to American imperialism and capitalism and self-fulfillment, as opposed to the communist ideals of us as a group, us together, and how those fly in the face of each other. And when that comes into a musical, which is very usually about one person sort of coming into their own, it's really not about that. It's kind of an anti-musical in that way, because Russia's not America.
Yeah.
Who wrote your musical?
Who, the best people. Peter Lerman wrote the music. Lisa Krohn wrote the lyrics and the book, it's just been phenomenal. And Michael Mayer directing it. It's just in excellent hands.
It's a dream team.
Yeah, completely.
These are three people that have been doing this for a long time and know how to make a musical, and they're kind of, like I said, making the anti-musical, which is, I wouldn't put it in anyone else's hands.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Because once you've done it, you know how to undo it.
I'm always interested in material for a musical that has the kind of personal, sort of primal passion that you need to power a musical, but also has ideas in it. And I think this material gives us that to work with.
For you?
When I look at these characters, they have great sort of inner struggles, but it's outwardly alive, and it's outwardly colorful, and it's outwardly musical. And I think there's something really exciting about the clash sort of between the Russian music in the 50s and Western big band music. There's some great parallels, and there's some great sort of conflicts, and I am super excited to have them to explore them.
And Sean Daniels, I'd met, he's directing it, and he directed The Lion, and we got together at Vassar and talked about every crazy story I had to put this one-man show together, and I breezed through a bunch of bullet points, and in the end, he was like, wait, go back to the part where your wife put an ad in the paper to find your birth mother, and she was looking for Celine Dion tickets, so that's how you found each other. And that's why it's called Little Orphan Danny. It's about finding my birth mother and navigating like that with my mother. So.
What's it been like collaborating so far?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's amazing because if you know this guy at all, you know him from Old School and The Hangover, these hilarious appearances in movies, or you know the hilarious Dan Van, but what you don't expect from him is a really heartfelt, touching story about being adopted, finding his birth mother. Now this guy has 2 moms in his life. It's really surprisingly emotional from someone who is hilarious.
How excited are you this season?
Well, I'm thrilled because Vassar and Powerhouse is kind of my artistic home. I've been going there since I was in college. I was an acting apprentice there. So for them to be doing the first production of my first play is a real thrill.
Tell me about the play. What can you tell us so far?
It's a 3-character play. It's set in Columbus, Ohio, which may or may not be the town I grew up in. The Ohio State Buckeyes feature prominently. We have a great cast: Michael Chernus, David Patterson, and Abby Spencer. Cheryl Kaller, my buddy, is directing it, and we've done New York Station Film has done basically all the readings of it, so they've really developed it. So I'm just really excited.
It must be really great that you have a home to go to work on your play to sort of perfect it.
Yeah. I mean, it's so nice that it's so close to the city, but critics are banned, so you really feel like you can develop your show, you can incubate it without subjecting it to, throwing it to the wolves too early.
Who do you play?
I play Natalie. It's a 3-person show in Sacred Valley by Josh Radnor. And it really is about friendship. It's about people being in their 30s and kind of like the vortex of what happens in your life at a certain age, at a certain point. And kind of the inciting incident of my character's husband and my character's best friend go out for a night of mushrooms together. And then it's like, and then what happens next? So.
It's so great to spend your summer this way.
This is a great way to spend the summer. I'm also on the board of the Performing Arts Project, and so I teach often during the summers to kids, and so it's kind of like right in my wheelhouse of things that I love, but then to also put up a production of a new piece of work has been really great and so fascinating, the process, because film and television can, by the time the actors come, it moves along at a much quicker pace, and to really kind of slow down the process and also just really serve hoping that Josh is making the play that he hopes to make, and that the writing can shift and change and the characters and he's a part of the process is really, really lovely, and I've just been missing it.
You've been here a lot, right? Give me your history.
I have. Funnily enough, the first professional thing I ever did when I graduated from drama school was to come up to Stage and Film and do a reading back in 1999. I did a reading of a new Jeff Whitty play. So it's the Vassar and New York Stage and Film is near and dear to my heart.
So this is your first main stage?
This is my first main stage Powerhouse show, though. Yeah, so firsts for everyone.
Yeah, all around.
Who do you guys play?
I play a character named Narby. Narby has grown up his whole life in Ohio, in Columbus, and he's a very smart intellectual who lives in a world of ideas, but is sort of stuck in his own life.
And I play a character, Brian, who's in real estate, also an Ohio native, like very clean cut, like conservative, like down the line, but doesn't quite fit in. Is trying to kind of come to terms with that, kind of like an imposter syndrome that he's coping with.
Talk about the project you're working on this summer.
Sure. It's a musical called This Ain't No Disco, and it's the first musical written by Stephen Trask since Hedwig and the Angry Inch, and he co-wrote it with Peter Yanowitz, and it's a sung-through rock opera that's based in the late 70s in New York City and sort of tracks the demise of Studio 54 and the rise of the Mud Club, and is about how sort of these two kind of created utopias allowed for these misfit kids to kind of come and figure out who they were and form chosen families and sort of rebel against the families that they were born into.
It sounds really exciting.
It's pretty, the music is truly unbelievable. If you heard any of the songs on the radio, you'd be like, that's a #1 hit.
I love this. All right, so for our audience who doesn't know what the Queen Wave is, tell me what you guys are working on.
We are working on Diana, a brand new musical about the marriage of Princess Diana to Prince Charles.
Yes. I agree.
Which we're debuting at Powerhouse, New York Stage and Film, and it's our first full reading of it. After this interview, we were actually running off to finish the arrangements for the show. So it is literally hot off the presses, this show, and we couldn't be more excited.
What a great way to start a brand new musical, to work with this organization. I mean, talk about, there's no critics involved. You go up there with a cast, you flesh stuff out. I mean, how exciting is that?
Bring up critics. We want to change it. We want to ruin the process. No, it's nice to have a safe playground like that and a great organization and really take this thing and get it to that next level. It's an honor to be part of it.